Someone once upon a time told me I had to get 40 Google reviews, and I thought they were crazy because I had 4 Google reviews. So I thought, how am I ever going to get 40? And right now, this is our arch enemy, Matt, the CPA out of Ontario, and they think they're the stuff because they're the highest rated firm in Ontario. And they went home on Friday thinking they were still the highest rated firm in Canada. And they're going to come in on Monday morning, and they're going to realize that a little firm from Alberta is now the top rated firm.
I can see the whole wide world with these 2 eyes, and I can be whoever I wanna be, 'cause it's my life.
For those of us who don't know, we've been working towards this goal for a long time. Someone once upon a time told me I had to get 40 Google reviews, and I thought they were crazy because I had 4 Google reviews. So I thought, how am I ever going to get 40? And right now, this is our arch enemy, Matt, the CPA out of Ontario, and they think they're the stuff because they're the highest rated firm in Ontario. And they went home on Friday thinking they were still the highest rated firm in Canada. And they're going to come in on Monday morning, and they're going to realize that a little firm from Alberta is now the top rated firm. So I want to thank my team, because my team has been, chasing this goal down with me for the last year, which seemed like an absolute impossible dream. But for those of you who are sitting there and you have no Google reviews, or you have 2 Google reviews, I had 4 a year ago. 4. And one of them was from some guy who wasn't even a client, who just ripped me because I thought it was too expensive.
I actually came into Josh's firm with more Google reviews than he did.
Yes.
When I first started.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into the next one here, guys. So,
And now you just crushed me.
we'll send Matt in a gift basket or something.
Soon to be covered.
Oh, we got lots of questions. Okay, let's see what we can do here. What numbers should be looking at? We're going to get to that one on the next section. Do you help people who do not have a definite business idea? I guess it kind of depends. Like if they have no idea on what business idea they have, I would encourage them to watch the YouTube channel, to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would probably be the best way. I'll get you thinking about the material. Come back to the boot camps. We're going to do so many questions of doing it. But if you're like, let's say you got an idea and it's just like, hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? Yeah, that's no problem. I might tell you, no, don't do it. It sucks. But that happens sometimes. But that's better, right? Because you'll be just further along the course. So yeah, book the meeting. We're good on dealing with book the meeting. How do I avoid putting my home address on Google My Business for home-based service? Okay, you're not gonna like what I'm gonna tell you, but I think you should put your home address on it. Nothing says I stand by my product or service like I'm willing to put my home address on it. So if you're absolutely dead set against it, you can go to Mr. Ted Wong over there at the UPS store, and he can get you a mailbox. They can get you a mailbox, and you can use it to get your Google postcard.
Also, remember when you're doing your Google My Business and you do put your home address on, there's still a selection that tells you, hey, I don't want people to know this is my address. So you will, it hurts your search results in the map area. But if you're really dead set, like, hey, no, and like, because I don't want clients showing up to my house, you can still do that. Google wants to know where you are, but they won't necessarily tell everyone.
Yeah, you don't have to publish.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I would 2090496F. Anyone want to come to my house? You know, you got to just think about your business like that, and you're just going to do whatever it takes to be really good at what you're doing, and you might stop worrying about that sort of thing. You know, how much should you bid for keywords? Okay, and then I think it's a separate question. So how much should you bid for keywords? I just use the Google algorithm, like user suggested price. I wouldn't get too overly precise about that. That's kind of majoring in the minor a little bit. We're just using the Google suggested. It's probably more important to determine your ad spend. So, you know, what's that reasonable ad spend? And what I'm about to tell you might hurt in the pocketbook a little bit, what I'm telling you, but the minimum is probably about, for your ad spend, if you're doing online ads, you probably want to look at spending about $250 a week, $1,000 a month. That's something meaningful, because that's going to give you enough data to really know if what you're doing is working or not. If you do like a really small sample size, it could look really good or really bad, but just the sample size is too small. So use the Google suggested price. Could you do better? Probably, but there's so many other better things to probably do with your time than that, I think. You know, if you have a huge ad spend on, you know, maybe you're spending $10,000 a month on your ad spend, let's talk about something different, right? But for most of you, I think that ad spend is going to be less than $10,000 a month, so it's probably not the most efficient use of your time. How do you become relevant on YouTube? So there's, I'm going to tell you everything that we do is for local SEO to generate local leads. We're not doing anything on YouTube to be a YouTube star. In fact, some of the things that we're doing are actually not what you should do if you want to get views on YouTube. The way we're titling those videos don't work that well, so don't think about being relevant. I have some ideas on how to be relevant on YouTube and how to be bigger on YouTube, but I'd be pontificating on things that I haven't done yet and some things that I plan to do rather than things that I have already done, which are the things that I'd rather speak on. Or, you know, I'm not a headline reader. I'm telling you about things that I know we've done.
So what's the worst thing you've done?
The worst thing I've done on YouTube? Not start 6 years ago. Not start right at the beginning, like 100%, right? I should have just did more. Like, we started doing weekly, and we saw like results, and then we started doing daily, and things just got kind of crazy, right? And we're talking about like 2019. Like 2019, Alberta is not very good, right?
So sorry.
Yeah.
The videos you put on YouTube, they don't have to necessarily get hits. They just have to be on YouTube.
Yeah, think about it. Like you get like 3 views on YouTube. You're like, oh, that sucked. Like 3 views. Those are 3 people. If you're titling the way we're doing, those are 3 people looking for an Ellerslie hair salon.
Okay.
That's like you going to a networking event and meeting 3 people. You never even met them, right? So that's what we're doing. We talked to a pilot yesterday. I talked to a pilot in Vancouver, right? And he's, you know, buying airplanes, and he's basically he's like a pilot coach. That's his pilot. I didn't know this existed until yesterday. It was a pilot coach. This was my consult yesterday, and I could hear him in the background, and he was getting his wife to get on the call because it was a teleconference call. It was a web presentation. He's like, I forget her name. Susan, it's the accountant from YouTube. He was one of the 4 people who watched it.
It's the account for YouTube.
Another thing to think about when you're making YouTube videos, okay? We're not going for Academy Awards, but putting, like I said before in that quote, putting relevant content in relevant places. If you're not doing that, then you don't exist. When you have a video, it doesn't need to just live on YouTube. You can take that video and take clips of that video and put it across your other social media channels and repurpose that content. We are also focusing on using the transcripts from those videos for our website to gain more SEO value from that. So don't think of it as, you know, it's going to YouTube to die. If we don't record it, you just get your spoken word, you can do that. There's programs out there that where you can just talk into a machine and it'll transcribe your words. But you're gonna wish in 2 years' time that you had the video, because what is the hottest, the biggest thing that people are doing on across all social channels? Watching video. over a billion minutes of video was being downloaded monthly on Facebook and on the different channels. Huh?
Kids YouTube. Like,
Kids
that's
YouTube,
the
like,
future of.
it's insane. You're gonna wish that you did, okay?
So, I mean, this is a great question, and we totally missed it. How often do you have to add relevant content? I would suggest that in order to be relevant as a local business, you are going to need to have weekly, long-form content. Weekly, long-form. So that needs to be an update to that website every single week. One of those videos. I'm trying to do it every single day. I want 7 videos per week, every day, which is then you get a ridiculous schedule like that. But 1 video per week would be, you would be very strong in any local field. And that is who asked that question? That's like a fantastic question. 1 per week. So
And is it relevant content added, does it have to be YouTube, or could it be like through your Instagram, through Facebook Lives?
okay, so I'm speaking a little bit out of the things that I've done and the things that I plan to do. Okay, look at the guys who do it, like the people who do social media really well. They're tricking you into thinking, like if you watch like Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone, and they have like all these content, and it looks like they're doing an Instagram post and a Facebook post and a YouTube post. They're not. They're doing one long form video, and they're chopping it up into bits and pieces and putting it out onto all the various channels. So this kind of ties into how much time you dedicate to Facebook and Instagram. Really, for me right now, virtually nothing. I do Facebook ads for this event and this event only, and I don't do anything else on Facebook. Most of you probably have a business where it's not social. If your business is social, Facebook, a couple of you have businesses that's social. I think one consult we did just now where we recommended the office, but if you're a plumber, when you're, if there's a leak in your house, you're gonna go to Google and search the plumber when there's a leak in your house, and you're at that point when you're gonna use Google. If you're looking for something cool to do, you're gonna look at Facebook.
Her question might have been a little different though. Like Google's gonna find you because it's Google looking for it. They won't necessarily find Instagram or Facebook. They'll find YouTube.
Okay.
So you wanna make sure that's that YouTube content transcribed on
That's
the
the relevant content.
Yeah. for your website.
Google loves Google.
Very
Google
nice.
hates Facebook.
Yeah, and it's vice versa.
Yeah.
So this is like the big question, and this is probably one of the best. Weekly. Like your goal in life should be weekly, long-form content. And the people who are doing well, like you guys can even do a Google search for Gary Vaynerchuk Pillar Content Strategy. Someone pulled, he owns one of the biggest, largest, the largest marketing firms in the world, and they shoot long-term video, long-form video, chop it up, and push it out on Instagram, push it out on Facebook, they put the long-form on YouTube. That's just how they do it. They're not.
They create blogs.
Yeah, they're just doing long-form video content, and then having people on their team chop it up and push it out on the various channels. That's how they're doing it. So I'm not doing anything there right now. If I had more time, long term, I don't think I would do anything different. I would just pay someone to chop up those long-form videos and blast them everywhere. And it just makes it look like you're posting all the time, but you're not. That guy's only doing like half-hour video a day, right? And he has a team pumping it out. So he's probably the best at it. That's how he does it.
For like social media channels, definitely if you can every day, wonderful. If not, you need to be consistent like over the week.
I'm an artisan. Is YouTube how-to a good idea? Who's this question? Who's the artisan? Can you describe it to me a little more?
Yeah, I actually do several things, but the main thing I'm really
Jewelry business? So you want to sell jewelry? Okay. On a retail location or just on the side at home for now? And
pretty much on the side, the occasional flea market or craft sale.
yeah, I would do 100. I wouldn't do. You could do jewelry how-to, like how they're built. You could do anything on that video. The more, the better. But I would do some just showcasing it. What are the materials involved? Where you source them. Heck, you could even do your process. We have one who's doing streetwear clothing right now. He's actually a former Spurrell and Associate client, employee who came back and hired us after he left. So, and we're telling him, hey, just document the whole thing, the setting up the store. You just need so much more content. Almost just don't think about what you're gonna. The struggle is finding the idea. So anything that comes to your idea, like if a how-to came to your head, let's do a how-to. You get another one about where you source the products. You get another one about what the customer experience is like when they buy it. Another one about what it was like when you set up your website. One of you setting up your table at the, like, just any possible thing. You're always just documenting that process and get that 10-minute clip on it. Yeah, and I actually think this would, I've had some local artists, you know, the starving artists tell me, you know, they come in and they want to make it big. They want to be the next big singer or something. I was like, well, I don't know how to make you the next big singer, but I could make you a working artist in Edmonton. I could make it that everyone would know. I could do you a plan that everyone in Edmonton would know your name, but you could market yourself the same way a plumbing company would. And anytime there was Edmonton events or Edmonton music, they would just, their face would show up and they'd be able to look for gigs, right? I actually think it would work, not just for, like Drew, it would work if you were a singer. You know, it might not make you rich, it wouldn't get you that $1 million deal, but it would get you making $100 grand a year instead of, you know, delivering pizzas and trying to sing every other weekend. So,
Not to slight pizza delivery guys. Thank you, Uber Eats.
how much time do I dedicate to Facebook ads? I don't do any. I don't plan to do any. I think someday I'll probably just say, someone take all that long form content, chop it up and blast it out so no one can log onto their Facebook without seeing my face. Sounds terrible, but that's how they do it. I heard another guy, a really successful guy, describe it as, you know, what is Facebook and Instagram? He's like, it's a garbage dump. He's like, but it's a great garbage dump for me. It's like television. Should you be watching it? No, but people made a lot of money for a lot of years advertising it. And you'll see the people comment back and forth whether it's good or bad. What they don't realize is you won. Whether they comment good or bad, they're now talking about you, right? There's the people who are, if you're, think about it this way, if you're creating the content, you're like the football player on the field. And if you're commenting back on other people's content, you're like the person in the stands. You gotta give you that person on the field. So, AGLC rules for Google reviews. Someone told me you can and you can't do anything for them. Okay, this is going to be
I was gonna give like an extra photo if they gave me Google review, but I was told you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, here's going to be the mindset, and this is when I can't move some business owners off, and sometimes I lose clients, even if they like me. I actually can't move their mindset away from taking risks. And here, I have no idea what AGLC rules, and I'm not going to read it. But here's what's going to happen. Here's how my day started today. We had to put all this chip. Where was it? All that chipcrete, huge 50-pound bag. I was like, are we going to carry this in the parking lot? No, I drove the Raptor up on the sidewalk next to the Nate building. Did anyone give me permission for that? No. Not a chance, but I just do it. Like, I'm just going to do it. I don't know how else to say that. Like, you are going to have to take some risk and break some things, and that's what's going to happen. And you just got to get into a position where you think, is this going to be a catastrophic loss for me if it happens? You know, is this probably going to result in nothing 80% of the time? Great, I'm going. Like, that's kind of, you just gotta break things sometimes, and you gotta take some chances. So,
Love me or hate me, at least they've heard of me.
yeah.
The biggest problem with most businesses when they start out, every business starting out, is nobody knows you, right? Nobody knows you. This is how you get known.
I lost a client recently. It was, it was an urban farm because they got ground down by the city of Edmonton. They hired a specialty contracting company to get all the permits that they thought were required. And this company that they hired was a company specifically designed to figure out which permits they need. I'm just build the thing and let the city come in and tell you what it is. But they spent the extra money that wasn't in the plan, and they ran out of cash and went bankrupt. I couldn't move them off of it. Now, they'd still be here. The city would probably would have come through and slapped them with a $250 fine and gave them all the permits they needed to do for free. Go ahead.
I just want to point out, I do think it depends on your business. So for me, for example, I'm a psychologist. It's part of the regulatory rules that I cannot seek testimonies, same thing as reviews, right? It's part of the rules. I'm not allowed to break that. I could lose my license.
Yeah.
So I do think it depends on your business.
Be really specific. The same optometrist that I was telling you, he had a $99. I've never read the rules of professional conduct for psychologists, but he had a $99 offer, and he got fined from the college because he wasn't allowed to make a discount offer without a coupon. Like, that's how finite it was. So he put the coupons behind the desk and has operated for the next 20 years within the rules of the college.
Okay, well.
So I guess what I'm saying is read the rules and go as close up to them as you can.
Because I've even like volunteered testimonies were not allowed in my profession.
Yes.
So I'm just saying,
These guys have
you know, make sure you know the rules in your own profession before.
Even if you guys just, like, they just click 5 stars and didn't give a testimony?
I definitely can't ask for a review. So for example, there's a company I work for where they're not for profit, and they had a fundraiser a few weeks ago, and one of the issues they're having is that they were told from the body, the professional body, they cannot use any testimonies, even if it's volunteered or anonymous, for their fundraising.
Yeah. So, we represent a whole host of doctors, both in specialty and I'm not telling you to go over the limits. I'm saying you know exactly, word for word, comma by comma, what they are, and go right up to them.
Sure.
That's just what I'm saying.
Maybe you can't have testimonials, but you can say, hey, we're online. And then do with that information what you want on Google.
Figure it out. Spend $5,000 on a lawyer and tell him how close can I get without going over. Tell me what it is. Don't be afraid to ruffle the feathers. Play within the boundaries, but go right up to them. Like that's kind of it. Because your competitors are. Because if you search Edmonton psychology, some people are gathering reviews.
Yeah.
So like they know where you can go and live within those lines. And then also consider the risk. Like, a lot of it comes down to tax too. Some people ask me, hey Josh, what's the rule on this? And the first thing I ask them, well, how significant is the transaction? Is this transaction $100 or is it $100,000? If it's $100, I don't care what you do. Do whatever you want. We're going to classify it as whatever. It's not material, right? So think about like how big of a what you're going after, what you could break, and what are the consequences. Are you using hashtags in your YouTube descriptions? Not religiously, so I wouldn't be able to speak. I don't think it's going to make a difference in the YouTube description or not. What program, app, or software are you using for transcription? Temi. 10 cents a minute, Temi.
How do you spell it?
T-E-M-I. T-E-M-I. 10 cents per minute. Easy. So 10-minute video cost you $12.
Well, that's just how it is.
Right? How are you leveraging your YouTube videos on other platforms? I'm not. I think I wouldn't even consider trying to do, for probably most of your businesses, I probably wouldn't even consider trying to do it until you can get to daily content. If you could get to daily content, yeah, great, let's start plastering that daily content on every social media channel. But you better off having that agility that happen on that daily content first.
Are you putting the links from your YouTube onto your website? When you create a video, you take that link and put it onto your website?
Yes.
Okay.
That's so not on social media, just on the website. I have the video built, and that's by design too, because one of the things in the Google search algorithm is they're gonna monitor how long people stay on that page. People don't like to read text. Text ranks because Google can't rank pictures, the quality of a picture, but if they click play on that video, they're gonna linger longer. So that video's at the top and the text really just doesn't even matter.
You can put your YouTube videos on Facebook, but again, Facebook doesn't like YouTube. They don't like outside links. So if anything, download the video to your computer, upload it onto whatever social media platform you can. Same thing with LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
Are you taking transcription, creating articles on LinkedIn? I'm not. I just don't believe there is high of a value. Like everything we put, it's not that we didn't consider every single other platform. It's just I don't believe anything has as high of a payoff as the things that I put on that conveyor belt. So if you can do those in addition to what's on the conveyor belt, all the power to you. But I know how hard it is to put daily. You saw my schedule up on there, so I would suggest you probably have to do that and pay someone to do the rest. Out of everything you do, what percentage of the revenue is overhead, and what percentage goes to great profit? That's going to be so misleading by one business to the next, and even 1 year to the next little business. I wouldn't be able to give you like this is your steadfast, this has to be it, this won't work. I have some general rules and general industries. Who asked that one? Yeah, what industry are you talking about?
We're in the franchising business.
Oh, what kind of franchise?
We do financial services business, and we also do restaurant franchising. My name is Mike.
Mike. Okay, so you do restaurant franchising, and you're looking at the margins on a restaurant business.
That and just anything in general. So I'm just looking for how much effort are we gonna put in here?
Yeah.
And how much income do we generate? And out of that, in general, how much net profit are we gonna get out of that? Just to, set personal goals, and then this is how much we're gonna do.
Are you helping other people franchise, or are you, buying a franchise BP's type restaurant? I'm just not clear.
We're buying franchises, so I'm not really focused on that. I'm more focused on the financial services business. So how to get more clients, how to attract more clients, and that kind of stuff.
Got it. Okay. In terms of advertising overhead spend, that I won't go through the whole overhead because the overhead could be different with your cost, your rent and your space and the employees. That could be very different. But specific to the advertising, that does lend itself very consistently across a bunch of different industries. And on average, most industries will spend 2% on advertising, and most of the top performers in every industry will spend 5% or more. And it's just like if you just look at who makes shoes, like Nike is spending more than 5% on their advertising budget, and all the bottom feeders are spending 2%. So that 5% number on spending on it, and people are scared to get there because the average will tell you 2, when really the people who are winning are spending 5. It's kind of bizarre. Like the people who they think about, they want to minimize that advertising. They get it. If everyone's doing 2 and I spend 3, I must be losing. It's actually the other way around. The people who are spending the 5 plus are usually the ones winning. So maybe that'll help a little bit. Sometimes that can be tricky in advertising because they dictate how the franchisor is dictating how it's going to go, right? And they might even have a certain advertising fee or certain advertising royalty fee built in there too. But yeah, it's usually that 2 and 5%. It's scary how much that correlates, and people want to get it low when really they should be. I look at it in the financial statements and they have no revenue. I'm like, we didn't put any gasoline in the car. There's nothing in advertising. How much boost would marketing do to a new business or a business that is established already? I talked to Vietnamese restaurant in Edmonton. So you got, who did this one?
That's me again.
Okay, so you have 2 restaurants, right?
So here's my question. If you're a new business, how much are you gonna grow with your firm's help?
Yeah.
Or what if you have an established business already, and I go with your firm for marketing help?
Yeah.
How much am I expecting to grow?
Yeah. In terms of like expecting to grow, like Trevor's, their value is, we want to work with businesses for 5 years and help them grow. So by year 5, they're doing more than they were in year 1, and we keep them for 5 consecutive years, right? But to say, hey, we can guarantee that we grow you 30%, I've just been lying to you. There's other people who will say that sort of thing. But you just got to ask yourself, how much is it costing you not to have reviews? How much is it costing not to have the content? Even how much time it would take you to do the things that we're doing. Like we can knock out 7 videos in 2 hours in a 2-hour session.
We did 10 yesterday.
Yeah, we did 10 videos. The record's 11. We got 11 today.
Oh, don't rush it.
You were there.
You and I did.
We did 11.
We're inspired.
Got 11 videos today. So
Watch that video.
So I know that's tough, like to give like reasonable projections. Normally on the Spurrell side, we're trying to give you reasonable projections of what you can do and what you could likely expect. expect if you executed this. On the Inspire side, they're normally executing those, right? They're helping you actually execute those marketing initiatives. So financial projections, that's a big meaty topic, and how I could grow your Vietnamese restaurant might be different than how I could do another one. How big is it? How many people? What's the establishment? What does the financials look like right now? It's a big project to give projections on that, right? But how much would it mean to you? 88. Just think about this: 88% of the people thinking about coming to your restaurant are reading the reviews first, right? And then how many people are just not even seeing you to even trigger them to read their reviews? You just look around at the restaurant. What's our capacity? Are we 30% full, or are we 80% full? Right? If you're 80% full, I probably can't grow your business more than 10% because you're never going to get to 100%. You just the scheduling and getting the number of tables filled, right? But if you're 30% full, you've probably got a long ways to go to get people into this restaurant, right? So I would also look at the capacity of that restaurant too. How many people can we see? What hours we're open? Make sense? Yeah, I think that's it. Any other questions on the marketing? I think this was a lot of time on this. I think we will take a break and cram the next two into one. Is how we're gonna do it.
Well, I gotta stick around and see how he does it.
Yeah.
Financial statements. This is so much fun.
Yeah. Shocking that people want to spend more time on marketing than financial statements.
Yeah.